Yeah, legends, welcome to the Pot Noodle, or should I say, G'day champions. How are you all going? So, how are you, Shane? We've got Dan on with us tonight. So, and I am your host, Jared, as usual. So, yeah, happy days, everyone. Hope you all had a magnificent weekend. Shane, how was yours?
Mate, it was brilliant. I'm on top of the world. I'm still buzzing. I'm still buzzing after we wrapped up the title at Tannadice. So, want to give a quick shout out to everyone at the Melbourne Number One CSC. I ventured down there for the first time this season to watch the game. Caught up with quite a few people, and just wanted to give everyone a shout out that was there. Love being around so many like-minded Celts, and look forward to doing it again. Sorry, in the hopefully not too distant future.
How you going, Dan? What'd you get up to?
Yeah, oh mate, just some, still feel like I'm living those tangerine dreams, just having a ball. No, it's a great weekend coming off the first Easter that my boy was sort of old enough to know what was going on. So we did the egg hunt and all that sort of stuff for the first time, which was really cool. And then an early kickoff where I was able to sort of settle in and watch a very nice, comfortable performance and another trophy secured. So no complaints whatsoever.
Yeah, you can't really be too upset with that. That's living the dream, mate. So, yeah, just thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one of you every week tuning in for the shows. So, yeah, I'll just bring up some comments here. McLaughlin, loving it. Jerry Burns, dudes, I'm still celebrating. Come on, you boys in green. Smell the Glovers. G'day, champions. Anyone for a tangerine? Love it. And there, McLaughlin's like 102 goals in 34 league games, 3 goals a game on the button. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I got some more stats I was going to rattle off later in the pod, but currently 17 points ahead with a plus 47 goal difference if my mathematics is right. So, yeah, as Cameron Carter Vickers said, we are the best team in Scotland, and it doesn't matter what the results have been. We want to win in this derby coming up, but we are the real powerhouse in Scotland, and the facts are that's 4 in a row. That's 13 of the last 14 titles. So, just loving life right now. Um, John saying champions, champs, heavy vibes. 4 in a row. How many more to go? Let's go. Let's go for a hot take, Shane. How many more to go?
How many more to go? Oh, at very least six.
What do you reckon, Dan?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, minimum six. But I think at this point we're mad not to be dreaming high. So if current best is 9, let's go 18. Okay.
No mucking around here. Vinny saying champions again. Henrik McLaughlin, how hey Aussie boys, yep. And this is the other one with the goals there. McLaughlin is plus 80 is the total goal difference for ourselves. That is ridiculous.
I was just
Boring,
looking up Brendan's
boring
first
football.
season, and in that first season when he was at the helm, I think we had 106 goals for at the end of the campaign with a goal difference of 81. So we're on 102 at the moment, if my memory serves me correctly, with a goal difference of, as McLaughlin said, of 80. So we're on track to beat that, and that was astounding at the time. So it just goes to underline exactly what this team has done this season. It's incredible.
The funny thing on that as well, Shane, is remember there's been a couple of patches this season where we haven't played good football. We've looked at is like doesn't matter how wide the goal is, we're not going to score. Yet we've still gone and done that. That's the crazy part. And McLaughlin saying, I want to see Eder get 25 goals now. The thing is, like, you look at the season he's had, he's not far off 20 for the season. So why not? Have a crack at it. How many more games we got? Five
We
more?
got so we got the 4 league plus the 1 cup final. So he's got 5 games to get 8 goals.
Yeah, it's all right. He can put 6 in this weekend coming. So, and then we're laughing. So, yeah, it's just a great time to be a Celt. That's all I've got to say, especially growing up watching them in the 90. Smell the glove as many as Celtic want and don't stand still. And that's the problem. And I don't think you got all these stories of the 49ers and all this sort of absolute rubbish. It doesn't matter what they do. Let's focus on us. Let's not get complacent. That's happened in the 10 in a row season. We had a few players that didn't want to be there. We got a bit complacent, no fans, etc., and we could be on 14 in a row now. So anyway, good fun. But we'll get into the game, obviously. So Celtic 5, Dundee United 0. Starting lineup was only really one change on what I was thinking going into the game. Was the forward line. It was Eder on the bench and oh, come on now. My phone just crashed on me. Yeah, so we switched up the forward line. I thought we were going to go with the same lineup as the week before. So we'd have Sinisalo, Taylor, Scales, Carter, Vickers, Johnson, Atade, McGregor, and Engels in the middle. But I thought we were going to go Eder with with Mader and Forrest. Well, it was Mader in the middle, Jota and Kun either side, and yeah, Brendan got that one right. Shows how little I know. So just I'll openly say that. But yeah, it's one of those things where it doesn't matter what we do. That's probably our best team on paper that went out there, and it wasn't just the best team on paper. 5-0 absolutely flogged them. So Shane, do you want to give us just a general chat about the first half? We're going to talk about the protests completely separate, so let's just leave that. So general chat about the first half and the goals, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, just to touch on the starting lineup for a second, I wasn't too surprised to see Kun and Jota come back in. I think over the course of the past few matches where Brendan's left them out, he's kind of instilled that fire in them again, and we've seen when they've come on, they've looked like they're ready to go. And so, Brendan really gave me the impression he wanted to go and win this in style, and so I'm not surprised that he put Kun and Jota on. And in terms of the first half itself, I think initially it was a little bit of an arm wrestle. I think for the first sort of 10 or so minutes, they came out. They've still got ambitions to finish as high as possible. They can still finish third, so they were pushing us. They were trying to get a positive result. So I think pretty early on they looked pretty good. And I don't know if they ever had us under a lot of pressure, but I don't think we had a foothold in the game. And then we started to work into it, in particular with our ball movement and our passing. And there was just so much space with their back three and sort of the two wing backs that were very high up the pitch. And all of a sudden, our wingers just absolutely started to dominate. And in terms of the goals specifically, obviously the first one comes from the set piece, which is the corner in from Engels. Big shout out to Scales. Obviously, that goal comes from him winning that header. And we've already talked a lot this season about his ability to head the ball and win it like that. And, he creates that goal, really. And, shout out to the Australian connection. There's always an Australian connection involved. And Ryan Strain put the ball into his own net. So good on you, Ryan. Thanks for getting the party started early.
Yeah, just on that, Shane, I agree with what you're saying there. Ryan Strain, own goal. Thanks, Ryan. That goal straight out of Adelaide. Happy days. Shout out to them. But the thing is, right, you were saying it was only about a 10-minute thing where they were on top, right? I honestly think can't remember what point the protest happened in the first half, but that was where the momentum all swung. I think it may have been 17 minutes or 15 or something like that. So it was a little more than 10 minutes where it was an open game. Then the protest happened. The old tangerines and everything happened. It was great. And then that was pretty much what we needed to stop their momentum, breathe for a second, throw some tangerines and stuff off the pitch, use some different muscles, get rid of a bit of nervous energy, come out, refocus. And from that point on, they did nothing. So, yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one. And then the second key talking point for me was, I know we said we'll talk about it a bit later, but Jota's injury. That was we'll talk about the actual injury and that a bit later on, but him going down when he did in the 35th minute, I actually think kind of actually worked for us, if that makes sense. I don't want to lose Jota, but Dazen wasn't really getting much. He was getting doubled in the middle. We were able to put him out on the wing, freed him up, and then his cross going in for our second goal. That was a thing of absolute beauty. Put it in the Louvre, all that sort of stuff, right? It was an amazing thing. to get Eder in the middle where he's starting to draw people, which opened up space for both of Kun's goals the rest of that half. So that whole thing, unfortunate as it is, Jota's hurt, Eder coming in, opened things up a bit more for us as well. But Dan, what was your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I think you make a good point there, and it's not something we've said a lot this season with how Maeda's performed up top, but shifting him back out to the left and bringing Eder on, I thought gave us a little bit more directness and a little bit more potency on the left, which is interesting to say, as you say, like it was an own goal from Ryan Strain, but it was sort of worked down the right and cut across for Jota. And, if Strain doesn't get the foot to it, then Jota does. But, which I think is good signs in terms of the fact that we can lose such a key player and such a big name player, make those adjustments and be able to look sharp and maybe even look a little better. I'm a big Adam Eder guy. I love the guy. I don't care. So I was really happy to see him come on. I thought he held up the ball well. I thought he made some good runs, some clumsiness as well. It's part of his game. He does some clumsy things occasionally. But I think we saw on the right, particularly a couple of those early balls from Kun, we saw some real purpose, and even in his celebration, I think we saw a little bit of a fire lit under young Nicholas. But no, to go right back, I think it was. I made note that it was the 14th minute that the protest happened, and you're right. I don't think we ever looked like we were really going to concede a goal. I thought Sinisalo looked a bit flappy and maybe a little punch happy early on, in particular there with a couple of balls coming in, which he, as a keeper, you kind of want to see him take a little bit of control and really diminish those opportunities. But overall, I don't think we looked under the pump. But Dundee certainly had the better of the running for a large portion of that sort of 10, 15 minutes. And then once we came back on, things kicked off again. We looked set up, ready to go. They looked like they were sort of a little bit, I wouldn't say shell-shocked, but sort of they were a little bit lackluster, and we hit them on the punch pretty quickly, and that sort of seemed to be it. And then, I think it was more that we put the cure in the rack towards the end of the half than they were really hanging on for dear life there.
Shane's got a bit of a chuckle going on. What's happening, Shane?
Just a couple of the comments there catching my eye. Just quite funny.
Yeah, so one from Vinny. Did Shane bring the leftover beers home from the turf bar?
The answer's no, but and Vinny and I did catch up on Sunday. I won't give away too many secrets, but I will say that I had the sunglasses on for a significant portion of Sunday.
Of course you did. So I'm just going through some of the comments here. So Heavy Vob's saying Rogers within great form at the weekend and looking forward to next season. Yeah, the thing for me, something I wanted to touch on as well that popped into my head, and then when you were talking down, it just disappeared and it's come back now reading these comments, is like Rogers, when he was first in at the club, his in-game subs was just amazing. Anytime we make a change, it was impact all the time. And we haven't really seen much of that as late this season. So the fact, and that's why I touched on with Eder coming on and then Maeda going out wide, and that those adjustments just sparked us to life. So it's good to see that, especially with the big game coming up on the weekend, where we can just, put someone back in the gutter, give them a kick and put them over there and show them where they're supposed to be, right? So yeah, it's good to see like the in-game tactical subs and everything were moving. But yeah, I just thought some of the first half was just amazing. The goals, like I thought watching the game live, when we get into it, like the first goal, pretty simple. You've covered that. If Strain didn't get his foot to it, Jota would have scored. No issue. Straight up. Second goal was just peak Kun from earlier in the season, where he just come in, ghost in, get a ball and finish it. What we were seeing him do in the Champions League. So that was great to see him back in that sort of mindset and actually doing that. The third goal was the funniest one of the lot in the first half, because Eder came on. He'd been on for 10 minutes, came on cold, no warm-up, nothing, right? And then you got people online in like on Twitter and whatever carrying on going, oh, he's rubbish, he's not holding up the ball, blah, blah, blah. Well, he actually did well doing that, all things considered. And then I actually thought when I was live, I'm like, oh, how unselfish is that of Eder? Run on the near post, could have scored it, but knowing that if he does that, he's going to make sure the keeper stays near him, which is going to open up the whole goal for Kun. That's what I thought. Then I saw the reverse angle. And I'm like, dude, your fresh head swinged on that one. What are you doing? You're just lucky the guy was behind you. We were lucky that Kun was in that spot exactly, because if Eder had taken that swing and it missed it and we didn't score, with him coming on cold and people already being a bit chippy about him, imagine the shit he would have been copping at halftime in that game. It would have been hilarious.
Look, personally, I'd like to think it was the best dummy of all time. It looked so much like he was going to kick it that, everyone was fooled.
You have the biggest set of Adameter glasses on right now if you reckon that was a deliberate dummy. I'm telling you now, that is a fresh area. And from someone who is adept at missing a ball, I can 100% know a fresh area when I see it. And that was peak fresh area.
Yeah, it was not good. I was the same as Jared. I thought, oh, great, he's left that. And you look back and you're like, oh, for Christ's sake.
This was what I actually did watching it, right? I watched it, I'm like, oh, how great was that? And then I see the replay, and I'm just like, do I have a smudge on my glasses? I actually took them off to check. So I was like, what the hell? No way that happened. But anyway, yeah, it was great. But there's a comment here from Dominic for our second goal, 6 touches from Sinisalo through to Kun scoring. There's that speed of play that we've got that no one else in our league has. Like, and I'd say that goal, 6 touches, that was us getting in a third gear. That's all I would have said that was. Wasn't anything faster either, so it was crazy.
I just want to pick up on that second goal for a second, because, and I'll regret it if I don't talk about it, there's 2 aspects of that goal I wanted to highlight. First of all, the finish from Kun. You've obviously waxed lyrical about Dyson and the cross he puts in, but that finish from Kun, that is not easy. That could have easily gone over the bar. He might have mishit it. Like, he hits that so sweetly, and he had a fantastic game overall. He was back to his peak form, the best we've seen him all season. Like, he was simply unplayable on the right, and that was a finish of a player that was back in that rhythm again. But the other thing I noted about it, which I didn't appreciate at the time until I rewatched it, was that AJ effectively makes a run to the near post. And I'm like, what are you doing there? And he almost ends up in effectively what's like an inside left channel. Just like, what the hell? I didn't grasp it at the time. I knew someone made a run to create some space. It was only when I rewatched I thought, oh, that's AJ. What's he doing there?
He got a case of the Bolongoli's, okay?
Bolingoli's on the pitch at least, not off the pitch.
I want to say, just on that note, I thought there's been patches this season where AJ probably hasn't been anywhere near his best and he's come in for a bit of criticism. But over the last couple of weeks, I think we've seen him, particularly going forward, which is so much more important for the way we play. We're not super worried about him defensively, particularly in games against Dundee United, let's be honest, where we've got the running, we've got the prescience to make those moves. I thought AJ really stood tall and made some good runs, put some good balls in, and was back to his best as well.
It was the whole right side. Like early on in the Champions League, we were always raving about how, well, if Kun went wide, then AJ would duck into that channel. If Kun was coming in, then AJ would overlap. So they had that great understanding. Those 2 with Engels and those 3 making those triangle play. It's been off the boil for a little bit. So it's good to see the 3 of them all in form again at the same time. And that side of the pitch worked magnificently. And I think Kun coming out, getting the rocket that he needed from Brendan to refocus and get back into it has worked a treat. AJ, I'm the biggest, I'm so soft on him when it comes to at the moment, because how many games has he played? He didn't have a break. He played all last season. Then he played all off season with the Copa America, come back straight into it. So the fact that he's going after having played maybe 120 odd games in an 18-month to 2-year period, I can understand if he's not, bombing and up and down at the same pace he was earlier in the season. I get it. So I'll give him a bit of leeway there. But yeah, it's great to see him doing his thing. And then Engels looking every bit the 11 million pound player. But what I loved most about this game, and it's something that didn't really get spoken about, was first half, one of their guys, I can't remember which one it was, I'll get his name in a minute, clattered, I think it was Kun early on in the game. So, which one was it? Hatton maybe? No, Sibbald or whatever it is. Absolutely clattered Kun early on, right? Pushed him in. And what I loved about it was Engels just was like, I'll show you, bang, and it's absolutely smacked him not long after, straight into the advertising board. I'm like, go you good thing. Bit of fire. Love it. People have said he's a little bit softish, so it was good to see that.
Not only that, a bit of team camaraderie as well, looking out for your teammates, getting stuck in, flying the flag kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's good to see. Got to love it. So, Smell the Glove is saying, with reported pending bad news about Jota, I'd play Maeda, Ida, and Kun with Jamesy 30-odd minutes off the bench for the final 5 games and finish the season in style. You get one thumb up and both. 100%. It's the way to do it. Is Yang back yet? Is your mate from the Yang gang, is he back or is he out the season?
Question, can I take that on notice? I have no idea. No idea.
A source that I'm looking at suggests he's meant to be back by early May, so I think that's going to be touch and go.
Well, he was sitting with Casper on the weekend. He didn't look. Actually, I think he was looking over Casper's shoulder when Casper was doing the filming. So, and can I just say on that note, how good are Casper's hands to be confident to have an iPhone with no case on it? How good's he going? Like, that's wild.
He's a keeper, mate. He knows he's got good hands. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on, really? You can't.
You know why I responded like that? I was like, oh, I don't expect that from you, Shane. I expect that from Liam or Dan. They're the guys who make shit puns, not you. What the fuck?
They're not here. They're not here. Well, one of them's here, and he was talking, so it'd be quite rude of him to make a pun about some of his own jokes. That would be like me laughing at my own jokes all the time. So I thought I'd just jump in and help him out. Yeah, there you go. See, this is Celtic fans. This is like Engels looking after Kun, but on the podcast, right?
Fair enough. And I'm over here being Bainzo, just looking on.
Hey, it's another accolade, mate. Well done.
I was going to say another case of the Bolingoli's over there, but
you want to know the worst part of the celebrations post-match on the pitch? I'm going to say, I know we haven't spoken about the second half, but how long was it? Sky Sports, was it, or whatever that did the match day? Kept Casper talking and talking and talking, interview him, and he's got teams over there taking a team photo with like the banners and all this sort of stuff. Not letting the guy who was our goalkeeper all season until he got hurt 4 weeks ago, be in those photos. He's too busy over there getting interviewed. I was like, mate, just shut up and let him go.
I'm glad you brought it up too. I'll comment on it really quickly. Like, he is almost every bit like Joe Hart was when he was at Celtic. The way he talks about the club, the support, what it's meant to him, the impact it's had on him. Hearing him speak after the game, as frustrating as it was, where he couldn't get in on the team photo, and I was like on edge rewatching it today, going, just fucking drop the mic, let's go. But just hearing him so effusive in his love for this club and what it means to him after this first season, it just brought back all those memories of Joe Hart and other players who've come along who, have just, the club means so much to them. This club has a way with so many people. You're not just a player at this club, you're so much more. And Casper just, he articulated it so well. And so as frustrating as he couldn't get in the photo, I loved hearing all the words he put forward about the club.
Yeah, 100%. So, second half, boys. Dan, I'll let you talk about that. Off you go.
Oh, it was pretty tame, really. At some point there, I was sort of settling in and getting ready for double figures. With sort of third goal right on half time, I thought we could really run away with it. But full credit to Dundee. I thought they came out, made those small adjustments. They your old mate Sibbald came in and had some reasonably strong challenges, as he does. Dolby didn't give us a whole lot of stress early. I think he got a free kick sort of 5-6 minutes in that was about their only real pressing move forward. But other than that, I sort of thought once we got that sorry, when did we score the fourth goal? That was like 48, 49 minutes. That just took the wind out of their sails. They were able to stiffen up, and at that point it was as low block as possible for a little bit and just try and recuperate and stop it from getting embarrassing, which I was sort of really, really hoping for. But then I thought maybe the delay this time sort of just sort of chilled things out for both sides. Like, it's 4-0, the game's no longer in the balance. Things are pretty much done and dusted, and we took a little bit to get restarted after that. There was a couple of shots and a couple of tit for tat fouls through the middle there, but nothing all that exciting until my man Adam scored the fifth one, but and came close to, I thought he was on for the perfect hat trick there at one point when he stuck the shin out at the cross from Kuhn. But beyond that, no, look, I thought once we hit 5, we sort of looked like we were done. A couple of opportunities there, but nothing really incisive. And I think that sort of came with Arnie Engels going off as well. I think that was just after the hour from memory. Didn't see a lot from Paolo once he came on, which was a little bit disappointing. But overall, it was sort of cruise mode for that sort of last half an hour, really.
I think we're at a safe spot in that when Engels come off, Bernardo comes on, and you're like, yep, all right, let's just get some minutes into his legs before the derby next weekend. So I think Brendan was more looking forward to that and who he was putting in, because when you look at it, he gave Schlupp some playing time as well, when I didn't think Taylor needed to come off when he did. So I'm thinking it's more, all right, let's just get some run into some guys' legs in case we need them next weekend. Plus, there's a few guys in our team who need to step up in the next derby, and because they kind of owe us one. So from their last performance, so maybe it was a little bit that way as well. But yeah, it was good to see Bernardo out there. Engels did well. There was one, I can't remember if it was first half or second half, where Kun was coming through, made a try as a back heel, and it was the worst back heel I think I've ever seen.
I'm pretty sure it was first half.
I think it was just before half time or something like that. But yeah, that was a shocker too. I just realised I'm going to throw that in there now while I remember. It was a shocking back heel.
I think for me, the biggest thing about the second half, and Dan's pretty much covered it off perfectly, the biggest thing about the second half was really just the form of Adam Eder and his getting that brace. But just not only that, but his movement and how good he looked, and just the way that he was, getting into the right areas. He was peeling off his defender and marker really well. Obviously, the first goal is all the cross from AJ. It's just pinpoint perfect, and all he has to do is nod it in. But the second goal, just that little reverse pass from Kalmack, Eder just does a really good job to peel off his marker. He comes back at him. It's physical. It's still a pretty good finish. You could argue the keeper should do better at his near post, but that's still a pretty quality finish for a player that's been, debatably out of form, if you will. And I think that was the biggest, most pleasing aspect of that second half, was seeing him get those goals, seeing him get amongst it, and just getting sort of going back to what we saw from him last season. And yeah, I was chuffed for him, to be honest with you. I know I've been critical of him throughout the season, but I think he's got an important role to play, and yeah, really, really chuffed for him. And I think he'll most certainly start at the weekend.
What do you think, Dan? With what Shane's saying?
Yeah, couldn't really complain. Couldn't really argue. I thought at that point things are done. We had, I think you even mentioned, as we sort of rotated through, you got Jamesy on as well. And, at that point, you said minutes coming in. It was really desperate to see Jamesy get a goal, to be honest. I'd love to see him finish this. I think I even said in the group chat, do we let him take a pen if we get one in the next couple of weeks? just
Honestly,
to ring that off.
I don't think he'll take one after hearing him post-match talk, and he seems like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But he's never been really a penalty taker, so I don't think he's that sort of guy that would want to just keep it going for the sake of just keeping it going.
You're right, but I'm one of those guys that loves a stat and really loves something like that really running on. So if you could do it for me, James, that'd be great, mate. I'd be ecstatic. But probably, just a shout out in his own right, the most decorated player in the club's history now. Astonishing, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, what an accomplishment. I'll cross that off the run sheet for later, but yep, 100%, definitely.
I was just thinking, I've got to mention that while I'm at it.
Yeah, the most decorated Celtic player of all time. I spoke about it last Thursday because people were talking about building him a statue, and me and Willie and Jared were talking about it, and I'm like, nah, you'll get a statue, but I would build it at Lennoxtown or Barrowfield where the academy is, because that's inspiration for your kids coming through going, I could become like that guy. I wouldn't put it out the front of the Celtic way. The Bunnet has to be next.
Yeah, you would think so. And it's right. Like, he's an academy product that's, come through the ranks and done it all at Celtic and has just done, more than I think any of us could have dreamed of. And for that sort of inspiration, you're 100% right. You can't underestimate that.
It's just a quiet type, let's be honest. Do you think he's really going to want people walking out the front on the Celtic way going, oh, there's the Jamesy statue, and putting stuff on it or whatever? Or would he rather it somewhere a little bit in the background, a little bit quieter, where only certain people get to see it? His personality type, I think it would be the second one.
Yeah, I think I even wrote his longevity, professionalism, and ability to adapt have made him a role model and a steady influence in the squad, with managers and teammates over several years praising his leadership by example.
Well, the fact of the matter is, the impact he's had at the club is that he makes Tom Rogic come out of his self-imposed social media exile to just get the Celtic post on Insta where it says he's the most decorated player and just share that to his story. Says it all. That's all it takes. We know how close Tommy and Jamesy were all those years. And the fact that you go on there and there's nothing from Rogic for like a year and a half, 2 years almost. The last thing he put in a story was Celtic winning the title in Ange's second season, and then doing that treble, and he's shared something then. That's the last thing I've seen him post, and then he does that for Jamesy. It says it all about the impact he's had.
Yeah, 100%.
So normally we do player focus, no point. The whole team played well, and it's just a comment here. So I'm just trying to find a comment here, but it was like about Rodgers' teams. There we go. Heavy Vibes said it. Rodgers' team saved themselves when the game is won, which is smart. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that we didn't run out the game. I think we're good to go for the weekend. So I don't think anyone really had a bad game. It was one of the best, most complete all-round team performances for us. So I'm happy with that. But who'd be your man of the match, Dan?
Ooh, that is a tricky one. Probably have to give it to Kun, to be honest. As much as I'd like to give it to Adamita, I thought the impact of Kun, particularly more so when the game was in the balance, was really strong.
Shane, what would you do?
No, I completely agree with Kun. Maeda and Ida are both good shouts, but Kun was simply unplayable, and he was fantastic. And as Dan was saying, in that first half when the game was in balance, he was the one that really propelled us to that obviously 2-goal advantage, right? But prior to that, he just back to his absolute best, tearing it up like he done earlier in the season. So, Kun for me.
Yeah, I'd go Kun as well. I'm just looking at it though. You look at it like the first goal was an own goal, obviously, but then you've got Kun scored 2 with Maeda with the assists on both. Ida scored with AJ as an assist, and then Ida with McGregor. So for me, yeah, I'd give it to Kun overall. Close second would be Maeda, but yeah, happy days. So
big shout out. Sorry, just a big shout out for Scalesy and CCV at the back too. I know I said Dundee weren't incisive. But I think big parts of that were those two really commanded it at the back. And CCV just amazing runs forward again, where he sort of looked like he was set for a shot there at one point. He almost sort of stopped himself that he didn't realise he'd run so close to the opposition box.
Well, Sam Dalby's been, the last time I checked, I think he was actually the leading scorer in the league. I don't know if that's still the same now, but, he's obviously had a tremendous season. And, he really had a season.
Yeah, you're a bit echoey there to me, Shane.
Oh, no. Am I?
I don't know, it was just my side.
No, I lost you for a moment.
Yep. Do you want to repeat that, Shane?
Just about Dalby. He's had a tremendous season. Last time I checked, which was a little while ago, I think he was actually leading the premiership scoring cards. He was actually the league leader. So he's had a wonderful season, and yet he didn't have a sniff up against Cardiff because of Scales on the weekend. Not that he was getting a lot of traction or ball from the midfield going forward anyway, but still, he was completely knocked out.
Yeah, totally.
He's actually third now behind Dazen Maeda and Simon Murray. 16 goals apiece.
Is that Big Red?
Big Red, baby. I actually do like Simon Murray.
Yeah, there we go. So Ian Roy is saying every Celtic fan is craving a Forest goal. Just going through, and then there's others talking about statues and stuff like that. So Heavy Visor say Maley, McCann, McGrory. North Stand renamed Ferguson, Lennoxtown. Renamed after Tommy Burns. Scrolling through here. Henrik McLaughlin, Kuhn still not hitting the byline, always on the inside or a pass to a runner on the... Yep. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. There we go. Murray reminds me of Griffiths a wee bit. So, yeah, I think the what we're going to do, we'll talk about the fan protest, right? So, name the episode "The Fruit." Yeah, about the fruits of our labour, because that was the big banner that went up. I've got a picture of it to bring up here. So there we go. Come on now. Okay, enjoy the fruits of our labour, and that's when all the tangerines were thrown on the ground. That's a class protest. How easy would it be if you look in someone's bag, everyone shows up and they just got a tangerine. No one's really going to care too much, thinking that that's going to cause much of a hassle. And then, yeah, so that was an interesting one. So I'm just going to bring up some pictures. So sitting all over the pitch like that. There you go, 13th minute. I should have just gone the picture to figure out when that all happened, Shane. And then you got Carter Vickers just pegging a couple off the pitch there. My favourite part of the whole lot was when Dazens just decides to have a snack on one. That was the best part. He threw one to the side and then he gets one and just starts peeling it, and he's walking around kicking a few off the pitch, whatever, or eating one. It was like absolute cracker. Love it.
Why not?
So, what do you think of that protest, Shane? For the because it was all about them ripping us off.
I'm going to be fully honest. I was a few beers deep at that point, and I had to ask a few people at the CSC what this was all about. It just did not click with me. And I think I asked you boys in the group chat. I said, "Can someone fill me in on what's going on, lads? Because I can't really hear the audio in the pub." And look, it was funny, very tactful, and important. We talked last week about the pettiness of what Dundee United did to, overcharge our fans to attend, and they knew that we were going to attend. So, I think it was a very good protest, and I'm glad they did it and I've got no qualms with it. I think we need to call this out when it happens. So good on them.
It's a very smart way to do it. That's what I liked about it. But Dan, you got anything you want to add about it?
Key points for me: wordplay on the banner, tremendous. The fruits of our labour, we're throwing tangerines. I love it. You're going to get your point across with wordplay so much better than anything else. Second off, you're hitting. This is working class, and this is what it was. You got working class people that go to football. I think someone said they were flogging tickets for the home end for 10 quid, and tickets to the away end were like 43 quid or something like that. which is just atrocious. I know economics, supply and demand, you're going to sell those tickets, but that's ridiculous. That's fleecing hardworking people at the end of the week and at the end of a big season or toward the end of a big season where they're going to celebrate and watch their team. And you know what? Next time Dundee United are coming to Celtic Park, I hope the tickets are a little bit more expensive as well. And I know that just hurts more working class people, but how else do you respond to that, I thought tangerines were great. I don't know if you just want to go into talking about the second half protest as well.
Not yet, because I want to jump on my part on it.
All good. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm a big fan of the 20 is plenty campaign across the UK and Ireland and Scotland. Football and modern football is ridiculously overpriced, and we're the people that pay the price for that.
So the thing for me, and this is, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, okay? Actually love how clever that they played this, right? Piss off, Dan. All right. I love the fact that they did it. I thought it was real clever. It was smart, right? The way they went about it. There could have been so many issues in different ways you could have done it. Me and Shane, the team we go for in the A-League, our fans are known for throwing buckets of sand into goalkeepers' heads, right? For me, the pitch is sacred.
Too soon.
So for me, the scummy, actually.
The pitch is sacred, and I don't like the fact that the things were getting thrown on the pitch, right? That's the only thing I didn't like about it. I loved how they did it, the banner, it all tied together. But yeah, I'm just not a massive fan of things being thrown on the pitch, because what could have happened is, okay, we're throwing tangerines today. What's going to stop the Huns throwing Bucky bottles on the pitch next weekend once we're 3-0 up? They've done it before. So that's the thing for me, where I'm looking at it going, we point out when the Huns did it, but then when our fans do it, we can laugh about it and it's okay. Like, I get it. It is funny. And it was a clever way of tackling an issue and something that shouldn't have happened. But at the same time, I want us to be better than them, and we are. So that's the only devil's advocate part I'm playing here. Like, I thought that was well played. Let's bring up a few comments here as well. So, Ian Roy, you're saying your first time on the show, excellent to subscribe. Thanks for that. And then you followed it up with, I'm all for expressing an opinion and demonstrating, but it's not okay when the game has to be stopped because of it. John Hutchison is saying the BBC said Celtic fans were chucking orange golf balls on the pitch. That's the BBC for you. And then
I just want to say, just on that, I get what you mean, and it goes on to your point about the pitch being sacred and all that, and us being better than them. I think the two things for me are motivation. So the motivation was obviously not there to hurt anyone or to cause that sort of scene. But I think with any protest, and you see it all, you see people, the friggin' Extinction Rebellion or whatever, they've made my commute to work shit. And it's like, I get that but that's the whole point of civil disobedience, is to make an impact. And if they put a banner up, there's maybe a couple of pictures and a little bit of a chat. The game being stopped twice makes so much more of that statement, and it makes it so much harder to ignore, I think. I fully get what you mean. And like you said, security at Dundee United, I think someone in the group chat said that it's like going through an airport. They're usually pretty good, but to get that many tangerines and that many footballs in, even if they were deflated, someone's done a real good job there. Like, that was well coordinated logistically.
Yeah. Well, with that second half one, Dan, go into what you wanted to say about that.
Well, first off, I was disappointed there was no wordplay in the banner the second time. That was my big concern. When you got fruits of labour in the first one, they've got us by the balls or something for the second one, because I want a theme there. It was a little bit overdone because we'd seen the first half, but then I guess I thought no one thought it was going to happen twice. Like, it was done. I reckon even some of the stewards would have been a little relaxed. They're like, okay, these guys have had their say, whatever. And next minute there's, I don't know, someone might have had more money than sense, because footballs are quite expensive. And I saw there was some pictures and stuff all over them, but they looked like decent balls. Like they didn't look like $2 Kmart knockoffs. Exactly. See your balls up. They got us by the balls. Whatever you want to say. Like there's better people than me to come up with that stuff.
Don't encourage him, Alistair.
Alistair, I'm not sure if you've tuned in before. Welcome if this is your first time, Alistair. Trust me, that will probably be the first and last time you ever say it. I'm known for waffling on, and sometimes the pod feels like it's me featuring Jared and whoever else is on. So I'm sure you'll come to see I talk way too much.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Shane.
God damn it.
There you go. Henry would like to say donated the balls to kids' community groups. I heard. Perfect. Nice. But yeah, yeah. So it's like matching the fine for Palestine when the Green Brigade did that. They made a point, but then UEFA tries to fine them, so then they match it and make a donation as well as the payment. So it's like the way they can do things like that is great, but at the same time, it's as I said, devil's advocate was why I brought that up before. That's not necessarily how I feel 100%. I was like, I liked the first one. The second one I didn't really like. But now knowing that those footballs have gone to the kids' community groups, I'm good.
Can we all answer Ian's question? Because I'm happy to start. Yeah, I actually played 273 games for Sydney FC through our biggest and most successful period. So my name is actually Alex Brosk. I played like 5th grade fucking cricket, mate.
Yeah, I honestly not. If you've met me in real life, you'd realise that I can't play much sport. There's no sport really for me. I watch sport. If watching sport was a sport, I'd be top of my league by far. But actually, physical sport, no, mate.
Shane would be an Olympian in terms of going to watch live sport, but not actually play it. For me,
it's nice to be asked, though.
Yeah, no. For me, I've played basketball at basically at a level not professional, but the next tier down. So, comment from my wife for you here, Dan. Don't stop mentioning those Smurf cheats.
Boo. Yeah. Well, if we're going to mention, I was a ground announcer for a semi-pro second-tier soccer team, so we've got pretty good resumes here.
Yeah, 100%. But I win all the time on FIFA, so that's all that matters, right? And Dan's a football manager guru, so I think we're like of the level that you've got to pay attention to us.
I'm the Jose Mourinho of FM24.
And I'm the eye candy.
Can't complain. Can't argue.
That's all I've got. I don't have a resume, so that's all I've got.
So, Ian, what are you saying about how do you feel about tossing objects onto your field of play? What are you talking about? If it was basketball or whatever, yeah, that's why it's kind of sacred. It's a wooden floor, nothing really sticks to it if you throw shit on there. So, different kind of story, but yeah, it's not ideal. But anyway, I think the focus on the whole protest thing, we got there, figured it out. I think we'll see what happens if the SPFL decides to try and fine us or whatever. We'll see how that all plays out in the next little while. Geez, we got another one, Jack Ryan. Just to go to the channel, bet you can't see the Rangers coming from where you are either. Nah, mate. I don't want to either. I think I'm half a world away for a reason.
Isn't that like a Jason Bourne character, Jack Ryan? Isn't there a Jack Ryan?
Like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Tom Clancy book. There you go. How I know who Tom Clancy is beside me. Anyway, do I look like I read?
No, I'm not answering that.
Yeah, no, that's going through the keeper, mate.
Oh, fine. That's it. I got props.
Oh, I know what's coming.
No, you don't, Shane.
You sure?
You got no idea what's coming. You thought it was going to be my dinted Brent.
Yes, I did.
Brendan book, didn't you? No, I read Grug books.
Hey,
Grug.
Grug learns to read. Grug at the snow. But before my mum died, she gave me all these. Grug goes to school. These are all mine from when I was a kid. So I came with pops. Here we go. This is where I got all my skills for this podcast from. Grug plays soccer. There
I've
he
never
is.
played professionally, but I have read Grug plays soccer, and I
Yep.
think that's about the same.
That says it
I
all.
lo-
That means I'm a
that's just
tactical
reminding
genius.
me of my childhood, mate. That's a real throwback as well.
There you
So
go.
cheers for that.
Grug's the man. I've got collector's edition Grug stuff. Fun times. Anyway, yeah. So Jack Ryan. Yep, I get that all the time. And have I finished any of them? I got a funny story for you, Heavy Vibes. These books are about 10 pages each, right? And
So
they've got
no.
big pictures and stuff in them. No. In high school English, we had to do a book report. And everyone's doing things like one guy did it on like Mein Kampf, and other people did it on like all this political stuff and all this. Yeah, ridiculous, right? Don't worry, Dan, you'll be right. Me, I did it on Grug Went to the Park. I did a 300-word essay on Grug, like book report on Grug Went to the Park. And the book legitimately has maybe 50 words in it. Yep. That's how it's done.
That's
You
what
told me
English
that
teachers
we
are
were
like.
gonna. If you told me that we were going to be talking about Grug on a Celtic Down on the podcast after being champions, I would say yes, absolutely, because that's what we do.
That's how it is. That's how we roll down here. Anyway,
So
we'll get back to
am I still at the CSC drunk off my head?
what's my wife up to now? Is the Grug Plays Soccer book where Rangers get their skills from? No, Grug's more skillful. Don't be disrespectful.
Don't do that to Grug.
That's harsh to Grug. Yeah, so Dazen Mader said Glasgow is green. How bloody good has it seen Dazen come out of his shell recently, Shane?
Oh, it's great, and it's just he's been that quiet operator for so long, and you know he's won the love and support of all the fans. Obviously, you know early on there was a little bit of discontent about him and maybe some of his finishing, but over the last 2 to 3 seasons, he's really become a fan favorite. He's definitely become a favorite of mine. I love watching him play every week in, week out. He just gives you everything. You know that he leaves it all out on the pitch. But yeah, he's obviously this season he's gone to another level completely, and particularly since he's been leading the line. And we absolutely adore him, and it's just good to see him, as you said, come out of that shell a little bit and celebrate and show a bit more of that personality. And I'm wrapped for him. I'm wrapped for him because we love it. We love seeing it. We love seeing him have that joy and be a bit more outspoken. It's awesome.
The best part of Dazen is that he's actually just like, he has his translator there going, just talking to him in Japanese when someone's asking him a question. But then he's like, I'm going to make an answer. I know what I'm going to say. And I say it even if it doesn't match the question. This is what I want to say, so I'll say it. And that's the best. I love it. It is some of the funniest shit ever. It's the best. Dan, you got anything for Days and Man Love? Or was that all Liam's area?
I'm all about Days and Man Love, mate. But it's the movement, pressing, creating opportunities, versatility, adaptability. I think I read that he was the first Celtic player since the great Henrik himself to score in 8 consecutive starts at Parkhead. He's a special player, and I think this season's obviously been a breakout season for Dyson. And whatever we are, who we are, we're always going to worry about players having breakout seasons and then leaving. But he seems very happy and at home in Glasgow. He doesn't seem like he's agitating. And I think the big difference between sort of where he is and where Kyogo was is that he is getting picked for Japan on some level. He's part of some squads. I don't think he's starting at number 9. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm watching a lot of Japanese international football, but he's in the peripheries and he's in that squad. So I don't think he's getting the same sort of you need to move for your international aspirations push that it seemed like Kyogo got as well.
I set you up with the perfect alley-oop there, Dan. You just missed the slam dunk with that one. I'm telling you. I said you got the Days and Man Love and you completely just didn't flip it like you should have. The pun there was waiting for you to say, I got man love for days and days and days and days. And
that's abstract. I like it.
Just like the guy in the comment.
True. There you go.
There we go. We're off our heads today. There we go.
I was going to
Smell the
say it's just about to hit 9:00 Sydney time. I'm just sort of I'm an old man now. I'm ready to settle in for a cuppa.
nap time. So smell the glove. I call Days now imperfect perfection. Now he's just perfect. He's perfect for us and what we need. So Jota's injury, the latest news is that he's going to be out for several months and may miss the start of next season. That's what's being reported at the moment. Yep, unfortunate. So, yeah, the last thing I wanted to do was talk quickly about the post-match celebrations back at Paradise. So I grabbed a few photos and ones that I like to look off. But before that, I want to go a certain meme. I have to bring it up just because I forgot too early on. That's my favourite one I've seen all weekend. That idiot, what's it, Dessers or something, doing his goal celebration. We're talking about how good Dazen is, so there he is. There's actually a Japanese guy up for the new Pope, and his name is actually Dazen, so yeah, that's a legitimate thing. This is one of my favourite ones I saw, like in the celebrations there. Brendan's like doing the whole "we are not worthy, bow down," all that sort of stuff, so it's great. But this shows the scope of things, like out the front of the stadium. Look at the Celtic Way, how chockers that is. There's thousands of people there, there's smoke going off. It's great to see. So, yeah, I think realistically, the old celebrations out the front, to be in that one day, got to be on the bucket list. John, you put in the comments, any of you's got aspirations to get over to Celtic Park anytime soon? My plan is probably for November next year's when I'm aiming to be over there. So fingers crossed to get to a game or three then.
Yeah,
I got two young kids. I'm not getting over there for a long time.
No, trying to get over there. I probably won't be during the season though, which is a little bit of a pity. But we'll still try and get up to Paradise and check it out. And yeah.
Shane's mate Vinny in the comments is trying to get tickets when he's over there soon. So if anyone can hook Vinny up, you know where he is. He's in the comments here. There you go, Vinny. I gotcha. I'm looking after you. The best thing from the whole celebrations post-match, though, I have to play this little video for you. It's the best.
Well done, guys. I hope you enjoy it.
So Frosty the Duck, like of all things to do, you think you've seen it all in this pod. We're winning stuff. We're talking about grug books. And now there's Frosty the Duck out the front of Celtic Park celebrating. Like, how bloody good is that? It's like absolute hilariousness. It's chaos. It's mental. I love it. It's Celtic FC. Oh, there we go. Heavy vibes is on. You beat Dan to the pun. So, in a hype, who could be signed from the A-League? Shane. There's probably 4 or 5 players that would be decent for Scottish. There's more than that for Scottish football, for Celtic.
Not Marco Tilio.
I'm not wearing that tiara again, prick.
Well, Aberdeen supposedly just signed. Was it Milanovic from West Sydney?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still that kind of link up between the A-League and Scotland. It's I wouldn't say it's an easy league to transition to, but there's a lot of parallels between the leagues, which makes it Australian players very good to come into the Scottish League. Like there's a physicalness that our league has that is replicated in Scotland. Also, in terms of pitches and quality and things like that, there's a level similarity there that I think Australian players, that when they make that leap, it's not such a huge leap for them. Those little things that might turn other players off, or they might go, "Geez, this is a bit different." Australian players are familiar with that. Specifically for me, I'll go on and comment on Victory. Ryan Teague's a superstar, and he's only going to get better. And he's someone that I think could absolutely do a job in Scotland, most certainly at Celtic. And then, since he's been in a tremendous run of form, and Jared, you deserve the credit because you mentioned this a few weeks ago, Nishan Velupillay. He's been in super form since he got signed by the Socceroos. He's he's a tall winger. He's quality. He's scoring for fun at the moment, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on.
He needs to make the next move from the A-League. He's at that point where, he's just dominating down here, but that's the thing with Scotland. It's a good gateway league for players to get into Europe. If they were to go into England, they get lost in the lower leagues. They go to Germany, they'll be second division things, or they can go play some first division football somewhere in Scotland. But Valupale is definitely one that could do a job for us. Ryan Teague, same deal. And then, and then the one to keep an eye on for another 12 months, I reckon, is Casey Boss, Geordie Boss's brother. Like, the way he's playing and developing, he wouldn't be one that's far off either that could do a potential job for us. Don't know about what the Smurfs have got up there. I don't watch them. So is there anything up there, Dan?
If they could give Ufuk Talay a job as like a janitor or something just to get him out of Sydney, would be great. For me, probably Adrian Segicic is the standout. He's predominantly a left winger, but he can sort of play across the front three or through the middle a little bit further back. He's scored like 13 or 14 goals in 20-something appearances this year, which is a good return in a side that's been utterly dog shit, if we can say that. And non-Sydney, the only one I really thought was Archie Goodwin, the striker at Adelaide. He's only quite young as well, but he's quite solid. He's got a good build and has that sort of athleticism, I think, that would translate quite well. I think Shane mentioned that it's probably the athleticism that's quite comparable between the two leagues, and I think he would do well over there as well. Maybe not quite Celtic level, but I think he'd be the sort of player that would do well in Scotland.
I've got one more for you that I just came up with. There's a young kid, ex-Victory at Newcastle Jets, Eli Adams, who'd do well at, say, St Mirren or something like that. I think he's at that sort of thing. But looking at it here, Andrew Galea is saying there's a few 21 to 23-year-olds ready to go in the A-League. Teague is just one. And then Andrew's saying Milanovic will do well for Aberdeen. Smell the glove. Any Aussies already left the A-League and playing, saying Belgium or Holland worth a look at. That's where Geordie Boss is.
I just thought of another one. You guys probably haven't heard of him. Polish striker Patrick Klimala. It's at Sydney at the moment on loan. Might be able to do a job in Scotland.
I was going to give Segicic his chocolates for a second. Not that I really want to go out of my way to praise a Sydney FC player, but in a team that has Costa, like that amount of goals, tremendous kind of return.
Yeah, I heard part of what Shane said then, that amount of goals. Otherwise, there was a fair bit of static and noise there. He's been great. His return has been really, really good. And he's only 20. He's got a big future ahead of him. I think if he makes a move to Europe in the next couple of years, he could have a really big career. But, again, I really just would like to get rid of our coach, Ufuk Talay. So if anyone's got a part-time job sweeping out kebab vans or something, I don't know, anything we might be able to offer him just to get rid of him.
Yeah, so I think we'll leave the pod there. We'll go to our final thoughts. So as always, we just have a random any final thought that we want. So I'll start it off. So now we've completed the real 55 in Scottish football. How many people of a blue nose persuasion do you guys think will be going to get their rego plates with 55 on them changed in the next couple of months? Has to happen.
I like it.
Dan?
Why do I always forget this comes up at the end and then I'm like, fuck. Actually, you know what? Smell the glove has just put it on to me. The best thing I ever bought for myself. I'm not a big buyer of things for myself, but I walked into an op shop, like a charity shop, Salvation Army. For $2, I bought a tie that's got pictures of Toadfish Rebecca from Neighbours and the car that his missus drove over the cliff. All over it, and I bought that for $2.
Best $2 you ever spent.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to have to dig it back out. That's got to be like a Friday work tie for sure.
You know what you need to do, Dan? When we get the treble, you need to like wear that as a headband on a pod to celebrate.
It's up there. It'd still be in the. I'd have to find it. It'll be here. Oh, you
There
don't
you
get
go.
rid of something classy like that.
It's got homework.
It'll be right next to the piano tie and like the Christmas light up ones. It's in there. We'll get it.
Brilliant. Shane,
Just a big shout out to Brendan and the boys. Just another wonderful season, 4 in a row. All the credit to you guys. Winning like this, it's never boring. Celebrate it, enjoy it, and those who say it's monotonous, go and do one because it's not. It's wonderful.
so Ian is saying, can you let us know on times you're broadcasting? So we go out Monday and Thursdays, 7:30, 8 o'clock our time. So it's at 9 hours over there. So what's that, about 11 o'clock or something over there, and 10:30 the other time on Thursday, and then there's another show in about an hour and a half or something like that coming on as well on the channel today. So tune in then. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hail, hail, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, hell.
Hail, hail.